Yeah, doing pretty good today. Today is August 17th, 2021, and today I have the EricSwanRacing.com podcast number 64 with Ryan Mitchell. So
Hell
welcome.
yeah.
Thanks for talking to me.
Glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
So you are, I think, one of my first pure musician guests. So thanks for taking the time, and
Of course.
excited to delve into a new category. I don't want to be just motorsports. That's what we mostly focus on. But
Mhm.
I know that you're a vocalist, you're an artist, and I just want to get your perspective and talk to you, kind of promote your brand a little bit, your album, your new music that you're putting out, and maybe some new listeners.
Dope. How long have you been doing this podcast?
So I've been doing it once a week for about over a year now. And so I've been just talking to family and friends at the start, and then branch out to other motorsports guests, whether they're amateur or professional, or pit crew, or just sell motorsports parts. Just trying to talk to different brands that I sell as well. Just trying to create some original content that doesn't cost me money every week. This is basically free. It just costs my time, and hopefully I'm going to get someone start editing my own stuff because I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. No, editing shit generally really sucks. I
Yeah,
used to do a lot of vocal covers and stuff back when I started doing music, and editing those, like getting the shit synced up, takes forever. So
yeah.
not a big fan of it.
I don't do a ton of editing, but it still takes time to render the video and like to splice you at least your beginning and ending, intro and
Mhm.
outro, like the easy stuff. But I don't really cut things unless there's a major break, like a bathroom break or something. I try to leave everything as natural and raw as possible. I think people like that.
Fair enough.
So,
Yeah.
so where are you at
Word.
now? Where are you living?
I live in Boone, North Carolina. I just moved in with my girlfriend up here and got a couple of cats.
Okay.
So not much with music going on since the pandemic. Just been chilling, started a new relationship, and yeah, moved down here from Virginia.
Okay. And you're liking it better than Virginia? What's the reason for the move? Relationship?
It was for my band originally. My band is in North Carolina, so I moved here a couple years ago for that, starting up this project that I'm doing now. And then I met my girlfriend like a couple hours away from that and moved over there eventually.
Perfect. And water culture. How'd you come with
Yep.
that name?
It's actually a reference to the show Avatar: The Last Airbender and the Water Tribe. I was like on a real bender with that show when we were trying to come up with band names for the new project, and they were talking about how the water tribe has like a culture of healing through empathy and shit. And I just thought that was really rad, and it just kind of took hold. It was originally going to be a side project to our band before Glow, but then we just decided to rebrand entirely, and yeah.
Okay. So it's basically the same crew, just different name.
This lighting looks really shit, actually. Put this over here.
It's hard to get it all right. I'm still learning myself.
Yeah, it's some of the same members. It's me and the drummer are the same, but we brought in a new guitarist, and we had a bassist and a guitarist leave around the same time. So it's a similar group, but a little bit different. Our sound has changed. I don't know if you actually like heard any of our music when we were Glow, but it was more like just sad post-hardcore kind of stuff, and now we get into more like vibey post-rock stuff and poppier music. So
Yeah, there's always an evolution, and I think I started following you a couple years ago through social media. I saw you're doing vocal covers and just singing, and I was like, "Oh, he's pretty good. Let me start following him and see where he goes."
well, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Need to get back to that at some point. I've been really lazy about covers in the past 6 months or a year. I've just done one like every other month or something when I used to do them like twice a week, but it's just hard to get passionate about that.
Doing other people's music?
Yeah, I'm just doing other people's music, taking the time to edit it, and then, like half of them don't get like any traction. Like 10% of them will do really good, you'll feel really good about it, get that serotonin boost that you were looking for. But yeah, after doing it for 3 or 4 years, I get much more excited about doing my own original stuff and going and playing shows, and haven't really been able to do much of that in the past year, but excited to get back to it.
Yeah. So, where would you normally play if the shows were going on right about now? Is there a lot of spots around you?
We play a lot around North Carolina and Virginia, South Carolina, or played a lot. And then when we toured, we went up through New York, down through Florida, mostly East Coast stuff. We never really got out to the West Coast when shows were still around. But we're hoping to do more as soon as we can.
Okay. Um, yeah, I like going to small shows, big shows, medium shows, like all kinds of different shows.
Same.
There's a lot of places around me that are smaller venues, but you can get right up close to the band, and you are literally there's no barrier between you and the band. It just the stage is right there. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig small bar shows. I think our smallest show was probably to like 5 people at a birthday party or something. Very weird. And then our biggest show, we played one of those emo nights that Kellen Quinn did, and there was like 700 people there for our set. That was really surreal. That was like right around Christmas of 2 years ago, and that was a high I've definitely been chasing as far as live shows. But I don't mind playing bars or smaller cap venues, anything like that, wherever we can draw a small crowd and have some fun. I'm always down to.
Yeah. Um, sounds like a fun thing. Always going into different venues, having to set up. Is it awkward sometimes setting up with other bands and other personalities there that you have to like tear down different sets? How does that work?
It's a lot of the times it's the sound guys that are really weird about shit. Like one time this is like one of our first shows. We were in between drummers and we were trying someone out. We went down to a venue in South Carolina to play this show with a band called Modern Chemistry, who's played with like Taking Back Sunday and had a couple of really big tours, but didn't really draw to this particular show in South Carolina. And I think there was like 7 or 8 people, and we were, I think, the first band playing, and we showed up like 10 minutes after what load-in was supposed to be, and I don't think anybody was there yet. But our drummer was like halfway through setting up. There was still no one there, and the sound guy came up to him and was just like, "You really should have your cymbals all put together and on stage by now." Like just coming to like ego flex on him and like shame him for not setting up fast enough when there's no one fucking there.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter, and it's gonna be fucking done anyways in like 5 minutes. But yeah, as long as like bands have a good like idea of who's using whose equipment, whatnot, and all that, it's generally not too bad.
Are you typically sharing equipment like speakers or drum sets or whatever, mics and all that with other crew, or do you have to bring everything your own?
It depends on the show and the venue. It's generally figured out beforehand, but drum sets are the things that get shared the most because they're the most to move in and out. Amps aren't that bad, but inevitably you end up sharing one here or there. I don't personally because I only sing. I don't carry shit. But yeah, just whatever the house has, and then if they don't have stuff, bands will generally bring shit.
So yeah, you gotta have a little bit of investment in it as far as equipment, and I'm sure software and computers and all that stuff for editing.
Yeah, I have a Shure SM7B that runs like $400 to microphone, and then some recording equipment and some time and knowledge into doing that, and a lot of years learning how to sing. But I'm not carrying a goddamn amp because I'm not a guitarist.
There you go. Now, did you take lessons as a kid? Were you in choir? How did you get started in singing?
No, I really didn't. I always had an interest in music, so much different music as a kid. I saw my dad doing like the church choir when I was young and thought that was cool. I went to a Sleeping with Sirens show with a bunch of friends when I was like 12 years old, and I thought that was the coolest fucking shit. And I just started doing a bunch of covers in my basement because that was a thing that was like really popular at the time. And I was really, really bad at first. I mean, I could naturally kind of sing a little bit, but I wasn't able to scream. That took a few years to learn how to do, and just a lot of embarrassing videos in my basement. But my parents were pretty tolerable to it, and eventually I got better. And yeah, just a lot of trial and error, a lot of being really bad to get kind of good at something.
Yeah, you have to allow yourself to not be great at something to continue to get better. Because when I started this, I probably wasn't good. I'm probably not great at it now, but I'm still doing it every week and just trying to get
Hmm.
better. And
That's
hopefully
dope.
one day it'll reach a boiling point. Maybe it'll get bigger. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, that's all you can do is continue and hope for the best.
For sure. Where do you hope music takes you? Do you have a goal in mind? Do you want to do this for a career? Or is this just a side project?
Uh, I would love for this to be a career. It's already my lifestyle. It doesn't really pay the bills, so I wouldn't consider it a career right now. But I'm very confident in my abilities and my songwriting and how committed I am to this. Uh, and I hope that takes me somewhere, gets me a bit of a audience one day. If it doesn't, that's okay. I'm very happy doing what I do at the level I do it right now. But I know I'm capable of doing things on a much bigger scale and being successful with it.
Yeah, just what do you think is the next step for you to take to get there?
Uh, Having a lot of money,
Yeah,
having just so much money. If I had, I don't know, like 20, $30,000 to really invest in just a really thorough advertising shit for like 2 years straight, like $4,000 a month, I feel like shit would have a much better chance at getting some virality, maybe getting a little TikTok challenge behind our shit or something,
yeah,
or just blowing up on Spotify. But with how things, this water culture is new. We were low for 2 years, and then we recorded a bunch of songs, decided to change our name, and haven't really had money to put behind our shit as we've been releasing it this past year. So things have done well on a small scale, but unless you're paying for Google ads, Facebook ads, and Instagram ads, it's very, very difficult to get anything out there with how much content does have money behind it nowadays. And yeah, it's a little bit stifling, but it's all right.
yeah. I find the same struggle with starting a business and nobody knowing your name because for the longest time it's like my website didn't get many sales.
Yep.
Most of my sales come from Amazon and eBay that I happen to sell on those platforms also. So right now I have to kind of be on those platforms until my website is a big name,
Mhm.
ericswanracing.com. So so yeah, I'm trying to do cheap advertising. This is basically free, doing some sort of podcast or um, I don't know. I don't know how you could iterate that, but um,
No, it makes sense. It's a good idea. Making
are you
content is
blogging?
really one of the only free things you can do to get your name out there and such.
Are
It's
you
similar for me with putting my music on Spotify and hoping that, you know, I'll get some traction through there, big name. I'll get on some playlist or something, get some kind of free advertising, but it's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. It's a lifelong journey, man. Um,
Hmm.
you just gotta. I found sometimes the blogs that I wrote, I did product reviews. That brought a lot of different people to my website, or if I crashed something, I'd talk about it, write a little story up about it. I've been lazy on writing blogs the last couple of years, but I feel like this is a great medium. You can talk and speak your mind, and you don't have to think too much about what you're gonna say.
Yeah,
Um,
make a lot of new connections.
and yeah, it's a lot of networking. I'm reaching out to tons of different people, and I would have never had some of these conversations before. Most of them probably never would have happened. So,
It's
getting to
true.
meet all the different people, and I'm learning a ton. I hope other people are too, but I'm just learning a lot. And it's kind of changing my path and changing my perspective on things. It makes me feel like I can do more things easier somehow.
That's very rad.
So, what's been going on in your daily life? Anything significant?
We just got a couple of new cats. We rescued 2 cats off of death row a couple of days ago.
Oh yeah, I saw you
And
posted pictures of those.
yeah, my girlfriend already had a adult female cat, and both of these are adult female cats that are not spayed. So we are keeping all 3 of them in separate parts of the house. And my day has been spent tending to them for their different needs and cleaning shit out of their box and making sure they don't kill each other. And then the cat we already had is furious that the other ones are here. So she'll come up to me and be very loving and sweet. And then 3 seconds later, bite me and scratch the fuck out of me because she smells the other cats on me. And so I'm just trying to make everyone happy, not humans, and it's not working. But I'm doing my best.
So you have
And-
one up for adoption?
I think we're gonna maybe put one of them up for adoption, see if we can't find a better home for them. But we love them, and we'll do whatever we need to acclimate them to each other and make everyone get along eventually. But right now, it's a little bit tough. We had a couple of drinks last night because we were very stressed out.
Yeah, it takes a little bit for cats to get used to things and okay with
Yeah.
other animals sometimes. They can get very territorial and aggressive.
Yeah, they sure as fuck can. This rain is really picking up. I'm sorry if you can hear that.
Oh, that's okay. On my end, your video froze, but I can still hear you.
Oh shit, the video froze?
But I don't know if it's your end or if it's my internet.
Hold on. Is it working now?
There we go. Maybe it just needed off and on.
Cool. Yeah, I stopped it and started it back up. But yeah, I just moved in here to Boone from a place called North Wilkesboro, which is about 45 minutes away last week. And I'm still getting my room set up. Now there's a cat in there, so that's kind of on hold. I have all my vocal equipment and shit in there. And the band has been auditioning a new guitarist the past couple of weeks. And we've been looking for a new bassist, which hopefully we're auditioning somebody this upcoming weekend. We do like a Saturday night, early Sunday practice and play the live set through a couple of times. We're hoping to find some people because we've never really had a bassist. We had a bassist in Glow, but he never wrote anything, kind of sucked, and then turned out to be like really creepy.
Yeah.
So we kicked him out, and then our other guitarist left. So it's just been 3 of us for the past year, which is why financials have been much harder. Normally with 5 people, you can be like, everyone chip in $40, boom, $200.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really work that way with 3 people, especially when, you're in the middle of a pandemic and people have many fiscal problems.
Sure.
So it's just been really hard because when we put out an album called Cherish You and an album called Cope. We put $2,000 into promoting Cherish You, and that got 150,000 streams in like 4 months. That was really cool. We were feeling really good about ourselves. We recorded another record the next year, Cope, put it out. Only had like $600 to promote it after we put too much into a music video that we didn't realize was going to be so expensive. And it didn't fall flat, but we only put like 600 into promoting it. We got like 60,000 streams, which is, it's okay. It's not bad compared to what a lot of local bands do. But yeah, we got a little bit discouraged after that. And then, oh, wait, I'm telling this wrong. We put that album out in February of 2020. So, the next month, March 2020 is the most infamous month in recent history.
Great timing.
And we didn't get to play any shows for it and got really discouraged. And that kind of led to us changing the name just because we were kind of done with the Glow name in that chapter. And when Jared joined our band, our sound changed a lot. We started writing a lot of different styles of music, and we just kind of wanted to make a change. And yeah, so it's been an interesting journey. I'm excited for the next couple of years. I'm hoping that this Delta variant wave is like the last of this shit, and then hopefully this fall, we can get back to playing shows. We had a bunch of really cool shows planned around North Carolina that were going to pay us like, a good bit of money. Some bars were hiring a lot of talent, paying a lot for it because people were coming out. So we had like some $600-700 shows
Oh, nice.
coming up that have been rescheduled again because of this whole Delta variant / mask mandate. And I completely get it, all that, but just really ready for this to be over. It's
So,
been
yeah.
on the live industry in particular. I know it's affected every industry, but on the live entertainment industry, it's just been decimation. It's to a lot of people's mentals, to their financial stability, even like well-known artists and shit. Like it's been bad.
The whole uprooting of your whole routine and your way of life. So as an artist, you have probably a whole bunch of different possible revenue streams. You have, playing live. You have maybe deals with different brands. If you're sponsored by a guitar or a mic or something, you could have your album sales or YouTube revenue.
Yeah.
Or maybe clothing sales, like merch.
Yeah, I would say probably 40% of our revenue comes from merchandising. We'll put out like every few months some hoodies, some shirts, all that. And then that'll make us a chunk of change that we generally spend on going to record. And then album streams, I think we've made like in like 3 years, like just over $1,000
Okay.
on
very little.
streaming. It's not much, but like if you consider how many streams we have, I think we have like 245,000 total. That only equals $1,000. Like
Yeah.
so that's what I'm saying. Like putting your music on like iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify is like just putting your shit out online and not really putting like, I don't really know the way to word it. Just hoping to get some help from a name brand that can get your product to people, like eBay, Amazon, shit like that.
Right.
But it takes so much of your money from each interaction that it's like, is it even worth it? Because like with your sales through there, I'm sure they take what, like 20-30% off of it with tax and their fees and shit.
Yeah, it's a gross percentage.
Yeah, it's so many markets are so dominated by one or two retailers, which is the same. That's what streaming services are. They are retailers of music, which is never how this shit was supposed to go, but is how it is.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to make it in there without having a fuck ton of money to put behind yourself. Some kind of like trust fund type shit.
For sure. There are definitely artists that I will buy their CDs, even though I could stream it for free.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I want to support this artist. I just like their music. I want to help them out, and I can pop it in my car and not have to worry about syncing my phone up to my radio, and just put it on CD mode and go. And sometimes that's good too.
I have a handful of CDs. I have a couple of CDs by this band named Artifex Pareo. Their lead guitarist records all of my music. Great dude named Jordan Haynes. My favorite band is Tides of Man. Used to be a post-hardcore band with Tillian from Dance Gavin Dance singing, but now they're an instrumental post-rock band that is like so beautiful. And I booked a show with them in North Carolina, like just before the pandemic started, like so close before the pandemic started. And I got to meet their guitarists and talk to them for a bit and just gush about how much I like their shit. And they gave me a couple albums. Haven't even opened them because I stream their music all the time, but
yeah,
I have them. It's cool part of my collection.
So tell me about your influences in the early days when you're growing up, and maybe how it's changed today.
Early influences would be shit. I listened to so much bad music when I was a child. I listened to Christina Aguilera a lot as a small kid, then got into like some rock music, but mostly like Lil Wayne and whatever my mom and dad were listening to all the way through elementary school until I was like 12. And I said I went to that Sleeping with Sirens concert. And from there, I got into a lot of bands like Of Mice and Men, What Was Me, Sleeping with Sirens, Memphis Mayfire, just, your run-of-the-mill Rise Records, post-hardcore, 2008 to 2010 bands.
Sure.
And that made me really want to learn how to scream, so I did. And past that, I got really into like Lydia and Copeland. I don't know if you've heard of those bands. They're like indie rock bands that have some like more post-hardcore elements to them. I love like really energetic drums, chill guitars, synths, and just like big vibes with like really catchy vocals or like soaring vocals. Those are things that like really engage me. And one of my bigger influences of the past, I would say 5 years, maybe 6, is a band called Pianos Become the Teeth.
Okay.
They used to be a hardcore band, and they transitioned into being a post-rock band, which is like it's just beautiful, beautiful music. Sometimes somber, sometimes like soaring and uplifting. Can be kind of hard for like the average pop fan to get into, but I really love how they write songs. The album Keep You is one of my personal favorites of all time. And yeah, them and Circus Survive for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of good names in there. I know many of those. We're gonna have to tag every single band because we've mentioned them. And that'll help us get more reach.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, and
Love all those bands.
so this is something I've always struggled with. When people say, "Oh, I don't like it because you're screaming," what's your response?
Whatever, man. You know, that's okay. If you don't like something because of something, that's fine. If you're gonna be closed-minded to it, can't stop you. A lot of people listen to lots of things where you can't understand people. If you try to listen to what's that dude? I don't know, a lot of rappers, you can't really understand what they're saying. A lot of people that are screaming, you can't understand what they're saying. That's okay. I don't listen to it because I'm trying to hear their gospel. I'm listening to it because I love how their fucking gutturals sound, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you like how the sound of the song is, and once you understand the lyrics, it adds another layer to it.
Mm-hmm.
I just think
Yeah.
it's passion. Those guys have so much passion, and if you're just singing a song, it's a little different energy than screaming or the dirty vocals.
Yeah. I always looked at screaming when I was writing music as a way of really putting emphasis on something. If it was lyrical or if it was just like a part of the song where like you felt like you could use something to be like really energetic, that would be my shit.
Yeah.
I don't like to have screaming just to scream anymore. I really like singing and all the different melodies and shit you can do. Oh, one of my favorite parts like about the screaming in Glow's music and any music that I've done is there's a lot of like pitched vocals like Architects. I really like those kind of screams. I think that they're really nice and you can do a lot with them. One of our songs that we put out this past January was called Better Off, and there was a lot of that. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's a pretty good song. Got a lot of pitch screaming.
Yeah.
But nowadays we just do a lot of singing, a little bit of screaming.
I think it's good to have the dynamic. It shouldn't be all of one or all of the other.
Yeah, no, for sure. Even if I wanted to like completely stop screaming, eventually there'd be a song that I would hear that would make me want to again.
And tell me about the breakdowns. Are you a big breakdown guy in the middle of the song?
Depends on the breakdown, depends on the place. If you're having a breakdown, just have a breakdown. Probably don't need it. But if like you're trying to put emotional emphasis on something, or just make the end of your song punch, or shit, if you're trying to put it in the beginning of a song and catch someone's attention, that's dope. But if I feel like you're doing like intro, verse, chorus, second verse, I'm letting this cat out here real quick.
Sure.
And then after the second or third chorus, fucking just throwing a breakdown. That's just lazy.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of good points there for sure. So you've been writing, recording music. You just put out new music recently. And you said everybody can find that all over Google, Spotify, Pandora.
Yeah. Any streaming service, you look up Water Culture, Tell Me to Leave, Water Culture, So Far Gone, Water Culture, Tired Eyes, Water Culture, Wait is the other one we put out this year. We have 4 singles out this year. We have 2 more coming this year. Another chiller one called Once Before Today, forgot the name of it. And then a really, really eccentric one with a bit of screaming vocals and a breakdown at the end called Leftover. And that has my favorite breakdown in it that we've ever done.
Yeah.
It's really the only breakdown we have in any of these songs. And we're not like really heavy in breakdowns in what we've been writing and plan to go record for the rest of our first full-length album. But that song fucking bangs. It was my least favorite when we went into the studio to record it, and it was my second favorite when we left.
Yeah.
So.
That's pretty cool, man. And who does your artistry on the album covers and all that? Your images?
My homie's fiance, their name is Salem online, Sarah, real life, but their Instagram handle is at little.twigs. They're great artists. They've done all of our work on these 4, 5, 6 songs that we are putting out this year. And before that, we didn't work with them. We had a couple of different artists do our album covers, but we wanted to keep a consistent theme with a person, similar art styles and shit with these releases, and I like how it's turned out.
Good. Do you guys have your own website, or is it just on like Spotify and all that streaming?
We don't have our own website right now. Probably should. I think we've looked at it a couple of times before, but it costs a bit of money to get set up, and we just haven't. We're at Facebook and Instagram.com/The Water Cult. Our name is Water Culture, so our play on it is The Water Cult. Like, our fans are a cult. It's like, wow, it's really funny and interesting, right? It's not. But yeah, and then Spotify, we're Water Culture. On Apple Music and iTunes right now, our music still shows up under the name Glow because Apple has been really, really slow on processing artist name change requests, and it is 10 months delayed. So,
oh man.
yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
All right. And is there anything on your mind you wanted to talk about today? What's going on in the music scene?
People are trying to come back and do shows. A lot of big bands are having these tours and all this other shit while small venues are being... Can I turn my camera around? Yes,
Sure.
I can. Look at this cute cat. She is so pissed there are other cats.
Kitty cat.
She'll let me pet her for a few minutes and then she'll bite me. It's great. Her
Yeah,
name is...
watch they change their ears and then they go from friendly to fight.
Yeah, they're ready to fuck me up at any given moment. All of them. Yeah,
Yeah, I got one cat. He's I usually lock him upstairs because he can be a nuisance when I'm recording. But I
makes
actually had
sense.
him down here the other day, and he knew I was serious because I wouldn't touch him and I wouldn't look at him, and I was just talking to my computer. He's like, "That's not normal. He's doing something important."
Yeah. Puff doesn't give a shit about much, but she hates other cats.
Yeah.
Didn't used to.
So this being a motorsports podcast, let me ask you about your experience with motorsports. Do you have any?
Broke my ankle skateboarding, and I have a Mazda Speed 3.
Okay.
That's about it. Yeah.
go.
No,
That's a fast car.
yeah, I like my car a good bit. I don't have much experience with cars or racing, except I went to Daytona a couple of times for some concerts, and my dad had a very nice ex-girlfriend like over a decade ago that was really into racing. And
Okay.
yeah. Oh, and one time I teased my boss about being a NASCAR fan so hard that she fired me.
Oh no.
It was great. It was a really shitty job, and it was completely worth it. Great
That's funny.
jokes.
Yeah. So yeah, I do the modified sport bike racing. I've done some open laps in a car on the track, autocross, with cones racing. I do mountain bike racing. I got one this Sunday.
Nice.
Go-kart racing. I just did
Mountain bike racing, as physically demanding as I think it is.
Mountain bike racing is ridiculous. Yeah, I do it for training for the motorsport stuff. I'm not as in shape as some of those guys, but I can compete a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a lot better with an engine. I need a better engine for my mountain bike.
Yeah, that would help, I'm sure.
I mean, some of these guys, they just do a couple 100 miles a week, and it's hard to compete or even do that.
Yeah, no, I barely go a couple miles a day on
Yeah.
my car.
Yeah.
That's dope, though. Good luck with that. I hope that goes well.
Yeah, man. And this year I've been corner working. So I've been a track marshal, helping out with race control. So actually, like volunteering my time. Most of the time you get paid, which is pretty cool. And being at the side of the track, flagging for different conditions, green flag, yellow flag, red flag, all that. And then calling in different incidents that occur. So this weekend I was in Pittsburgh at the Moto America race, and one of the guys, Wyatt Ferris, he crashed. He was fine, but his bike immediately caught on fire. And so it's our job to put the fire out. So we run to the incident. Me and another guy, Jeff, and we were corner working. They call it, we were track marshals. So we were the guys running to the bikes and picking up riders and helping out. And there's also a guy at the station waving the flag. So we have several different people down there for each corner. So we run to the fire. I'm the first guy in the scene. I hand the fire bottle to the rider, and he puts it out as much as he can. The fire bottle is empty. Jeff is using his whole bottle. His bottle is empty, and the fire is still raging. And actually, what happened? We all have headsets on, and so corner 3 was calling in. Oh, they had a crash, and the rider needs medical. He broke his finger or something. And he was complaining about his fingers really hurting. But when you do that, when corner 3 is talking, we can't talk. They call it you stepping on someone else. So we have a really bad fire going on, and we can't talk to race control because corner 3 is talking about this guy broke his finger. I'm like,
Fuck.
bad situation. Like, we need
Order of importance is off there.
like shut the race down, red flag it now. We can't even talk to race control. So I'm like, this is not good.
That's fucked.
But a few seconds later, it felt like forever. But when you need to call, it feels like a long time. And so we got the call across, and they red flagged it, and they had to have 2 safety vehicles come out with equipped with fire hoses just to put it out.
That's wild.
And then
Good on y'all for trying to keep them safe, though.
we got to get there as fast as possible, but also, you know, watch out for other bikes that might be crashing because you don't want to get hit by something. It's just a cool thing I've been doing this year. It's like something to look forward to at these events, and I get to help out and see the riders.
It's rad, dude.
Yeah, man.
Very cool.
So yeah, just been working on the business and talking to people. We're already got about 36 minutes. We can go a little longer if you like.
Sure, I got a few more minutes.
Shooting the shit. Anything else you got? What were some of the things that you put on your list that you wanted to mention in the email when I sent you that? Let me look.
Shit, I don't remember. That was a couple months ago, my man. I think I said something about
sports, video games, whatever, really.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna say sports, video games, and something else, but whatever really sums it up. Yeah, I'm a bit of a. I dig sports, you know. I like the Washington football team, even though that's a dumb name. I've been a Boston Red Sox fan for a long time. I played a lot of sports growing up before I got into music. Living in Roanoke, Virginia, there was a nice rec sports scene, so generally any kid could play whatever they wanted to. Got into a lot. I've always liked hockey, but never played it. Yeah. What about you? Do you like sports?
Yeah, you know, I grew up playing soccer for about a dozen years. Played select for a fairly high level. Switched over to play varsity hockey. Played that for a while. But I was also in like concert band, marching band, jazz band. You know, I played all the sports. Played t-ball and flag football and tennis. And I was swam in middle school. I was on the golf team in middle school.
Damn, I would have hated to have been your mom. Fucking trying to get you 19 different places on Tuesday.
Right. And
That's crazy.
I was in track in middle school. Um, I mean, I just did a little bit of everything and snowboarded since I was in fourth grade. Most weekends in the winter, I was on the snowboard Dearborn Heights Ski and Snowboard Club. So I was very active and then I got into racing. I got a sport bike for my first car. My first vehicle was a motorcycle. When I was
Nice.
16, I worked at McDonald's. I was the youngest kid ever to work at McDonald's at that location at 14. And then they grandfathered me in because the law changed. You had to be 16. So I was good. Um, and then, so I saved up all my money from working there. I lived at home, obviously, when I was 14. Didn't have any bills to pay, which was nice. And I bought my first motorcycle cash, brand new off the showroom. And then I eventually moved up to the 600 class of motorcycle from a 250. And then I went to the racetrack, and that's my new sport. Going to the racetrack, I did a whole season of just open laps, track days, they call them. So they'll have beginner, intermediate, advanced sessions. So you could go to the track tomorrow and go ride in beginner, and they teach you everything you need to know. Everybody starts there just to assess your ability. They have like a follow the leader. There's an instructor that teaches you and shows you follow my line. We'll go around at like 50% so you can understand where things are, which way the track goes, and the elevation changes. And they're so helpful. And then if you feel comfortable, then you can go faster. The instructor will pull away, and now you're on your own. And it's way different when you're on your own instead of just staring at the instructor in front of you. You know, you can see their braking points. You see where they're getting on the gas. Otherwise, you got to do it all yourself. You know, so and then there's different passing rules. So to make it safe for everybody, if you're not comfortable passing in beginner, you can only pass on the straightaway with 6 feet distance between you two. So you're not being close to each other. And intermediate, you can pass anywhere on the track, but still 6-foot passing rule. And then they say advanced is just don't hit the guy. So it's basically a racer practice, and just you can pass anywhere. Just it's going to be a lot closer probably because most people are racing and they're used to that. But when you're first starting out and someone comes whizzing past you 20, 30 miles an hour faster, you're like, oh my
A little
goodness.
scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little pucker moment sometimes, and it can cause people to freeze up or accidentally grab more gas or brakes, and it can be not good.
Yeah, no doubt. I could see that for sure.
So,
I think
yeah.
I'm too imbalanced to do motorbikes. I snapped the fuck out of my ankle like trying a skateboard, and that just really put me off to most things. My dad told me that if I didn't get a motorcycle, he'd pay for my college. Jokes on him. I didn't go to college.
Yeah.
But yeah. That put me off to it a little bit as well. He's a doctor and has told me many horror stories about just the worst case scenarios on bikes, and I've gotten a little bit of that fear inside of me instilled by my parents.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a good thing, maybe not so, but that's very cool that you're into that, and that sounds like a dope journey going through all those different sports and deciding on that.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's definitely not for everybody. There's an inherent risk involved. Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
It will never be 100% safe. I've been injured a whole bunch of times myself.
Nothing that's fun is safe.
Yeah, it gives you an adrenaline rush and some sort of fix that I don't think anything else can. It gives you a huge confidence boost when you can do a certain thing with the motorcycle or any machine, to be able to ride it well, or to be able to complete any difficult or dangerous task well, seems very satisfying.
I bet so.
And it's so skill based. You know, there could be someone out there who's doing the same exact thing as you, but they might be going 2 or 3 seconds slower or faster, and you're like, well, how are they doing that? How can I do that too? Sometimes it's just that confidence or some simple settings on their suspension that's like so hard to find the right feeling and
yeah, it seems like something you could really fine tune.
Yeah, it's like infinite. Everybody's always fine tuning everything. But I'm sure that's the same way with your vocals. You're always trying to make it sound better or hit the pitch more accurately.
Yeah, it's It's a very up and down journey with vocals. I feel like there's been years that have been much better than others. I feel like there's a lot of getting worse and then finding ways to get better, especially as you get older. It's one thing that kind of scares me about the tenure of a career of a vocalist is, especially if you are learning and doing screaming vocals, it can shorten that by a bit, and you have to find a lot of workarounds with singing and different styles of singing to go back and forth through those styles. It's a little bit difficult, but I think it's fun.
Yeah. And have you ever had any vocal injuries? And how do those feel?
Uh,
Losing your voice or anything?
I mean, I've definitely lost my voice here or there. It can feel, I don't really know the way to describe it. If you burn your voice out during a show, when you try to get to a certain pitch or something, your voice can just kind of like break, not in like a painful way, but you'll have like a nasty voice crack. And uh, learning ways to go about doing vocals without doing that to yourself is very difficult, but just part of the process. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing my vocals in a better, healthier way. Sometimes I feel like I get lazy, don't warm up as much, and can kind of fry myself. This getting acclimated to doing longer sets again has been something of a challenge for me because I haven't really done vocals live since I was 22 and I'm 24 now. My last show was just before my 23rd birthday in February of 2020, and yeah, it's doing. We're getting ready for a 2-hour set that got postponed again, but getting ready for that was like what I would assume a power lifter that just took a year and a half off trying to go to competition in one day felt
Yeah.
like.
So how do you train for that? Do you do smaller sets, like different reps type of thing?
Yeah, just you warm up your voice multiple times a day. You go, you sing, you do things multiple times a day. Maybe push yourself a little bit, but not much. And then you just build it up over time. You know, you do 15 to 25 to 35 minutes, 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 95, 120 fucking minutes. 2-hour sets are bullshit. I don't know why bars want bands to play that long. No
Yeah.
one sounds good after 2 hours. We had it set up to where it was really an hour and a half with 30 minutes of bullshit. But, you know, everything needs a little bit of filler, else you're going to be too entertained, and that's not fair.
Yeah. So you guys have set filler songs like between sets or beginning, or is it all just
Yeah,
random?
we had a little intro that we would play that was like a minute long, but that turned into the song Selfish and Helpless on our album Cope. That was when we were still playing. That's what we would always open with because it's just a very energetic song. It comes in as like a little pretty section, and then it just comes in with this huge scream over like this beautiful like title fight chorus type thing. And that would always get people going. And then for especially long sets, like we played at the state fair for an hour when we only had like 9 songs written as a band. We played a couple of demos, and then we just had the band do like a little instrumental jam for 2 or 3 minutes, and then I would talk for a couple of minutes and yada yada yada. Someone has to tune yada 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 in between songs. Just always find ways to pass time because for bands that aren't like headlining acts, like big headlining acts, no one needs to play over an hour ever. It's not even necessary.
Yeah.
At all, in my humble opinion.
Right. I mean, unless they're like they're playing their greatest hits and they have 17 albums out and they're just playing on and on. It's like an encore.
I mean, some bands have backing tracks, and like we'll have a professional setup and have the discography and the crowd that wants to listen to them for an hour. But I'm just saying, nobody wants to listen to any band they don't know really well for an hour. So like, what are you accomplishing? you know?
Yeah. Just
if
give you a
if you have a
taste.
band come play at your bar and nobody likes them on the first song, do you think they're gonna like them on the 14th or 23rd?
Yeah, I
It
gotcha.
doesn't. Yeah,
You just want a taste of it, and let's see the next one.
yeah, and one like the way I look at it from a performing standpoint too is you always want to leave people wanting more, not less.
Sure.
If you go out there and you play an incredible 25-minute set, it's going to do a lot more for you than if you go out there and you half-ass it for 2 hours and you don't
Yeah.
really have a game plan. It's a lot easier to game plan for 25 minutes too. So that's my sweet spot. 5, 6 songs, you'll have a good night. We'll go get really drunk.
Yeah. And so you have a lot of like back rooms at these places, or is it just like come from your vehicle right to the stage, like setup areas for the musicians?
I'd say about half and half. If it's not a house show or like at a bar, generally even some smaller venues, if it's just a venue that like they night in, night out have shows, they'll generally have like a back room, but I'm not much of a back room chiller. I like to go hang out with friends and do whatever, go smoke outside, watch half of a band set, and then get wasted outside with some homies.
Schmooze
You
a little
know,
bit.
yeah. There's always sheets and a Waffle House not too far, so.
And how are you traveling to most of these events? Do you guys have a van? Are you sleeping in a van? Do you got a trailer? Are you hoteling it or camping?
We're not going to any events right now.
Well, I mean beforehand.
When we were, we had a van. My very dumb, creepy ex-bassist bought us a shitty van that broke down after a month, and didn't work even after we put $1,000 into like trying to get shit fixed.
Yeah.
So when we did our tours, we would go in his FJ Cruiser with a van or trailer, and we would bum it. If we were going to be somewhere multiple nights, we would maybe get an Airbnb like we did in New York, which is crucial because being homeless there is like dangerous as fuck.
Right.
And yeah, we would take like a minivan to the studio, pack all 5 of us in there, and then when we would go to like Raleigh or something local, we'd maybe take 2 cars or take a minivan or pack up in the FJ. But I'm not really sure. Oh, actually, my drummer just got like a fucking massive 4Runner. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure with like
Yeah.
8 seats in it.
Nice.
So that'll probably be our move whenever we get back to doing things.
Yeah,
He was really excited about that. He fucking loves cars.
that's good. That's good to have something reliable. Going and traveling all these shows, it's not good to be broken down a couple 100 miles from your home and
No, it's
not able to
not.
get anywhere.
No, having a 15-passenger van on the side of the road is no fucking fun at all.
Yeah, it becomes immobile sometimes. I had that happen earlier this year. My truck broke down up north near my cousin's cabin, like 10 minutes from leaving his place, 300 miles from my house. I'm like, oh no. So I had it towed to the local garage and I got a ride back. But then I had to go all the way, get a ride back there to get my truck, in a couple of days. So that was
Yeah, that's a mess.
unplanned go up to the UP again almost.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And most of the time when I'm going to the racetrack, I almost never get a hotel. I think I've gotten a hotel maybe twice. Once when it was snowing unexpectedly, and the other time was just a splurge. But I almost always just camp there. I mean, I kind of like waking up at the track, not having to drive anywhere. But this past weekend at Pittsburgh, it was a severe thunderstorm, and I just bought a brand new tent, but I found out it is not waterproof.
Oh fuck.
It wasn't so bad. It wasn't like everything wasn't soaked. It was only a couple of small puddles, and I brought extra towels anyway, so I was prepared. But it really needs a canopy on top of the tent because it's just not designed for that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's a small phobia of mine. I went to a church camp when I was a child. I was probably 8 years old, and we went camping one of the nights.
Yeah.
And we just had like our sleeping bags and like not really a tent, but like a tarp over us.
Yeah.
And there was a torrential downpour to where like the tarp was weighing down on us, and I was panicking like a motherfucker as an 8-year-old, not even knowing what anxiety is. So I have my flashlight and sitting here, and all the bugs in the area were like, "Oh, it's dry and there's a light." So all these bugs start like fucking swarming me, and I just started flailing my arms and legs, like screaming, waking everyone up. I was not adept to that situation at all. I like camping though. Camping is fun in like the right environment with the right conditions. I just that shit scarred me a little bit. Just a
Yeah,
little bit.
it's definitely exposes you to the elements. You don't realize how nice being in a house is after being out camping for a week or so.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I am spoiled.
Yeah, it's like with this shelter, you can pretty much withstand anything except for maybe a tornado. And I mean, there's not many natural disasters where I'm in Michigan, but in North Carolina, you might have hurricanes or I don't know about earthquakes.
Some hurricanes here or there. We're pretty far from the coast here, so it's generally a bit safer unless they're coming from Florida. Then we get kind of fucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. And I've always been safe from tornadoes just because I've always lived in the mountains. So it's really hard for tornadoes to get in or around anywhere I live. Motherfuckers.
You got a lot of elevation where you are?
Yeah, in Boone we're really high up. Not like Colorado high up, but very high up. And then in Roanoke, when I lived in Roanoke, Virginia, growing up, um, we lived in a valley, so there was a lot of tall mountains and you could go for hikes and shit. But we were like right down in there. So there was a lot of flooding issues when it would rain hard as fuck, and tornadoes couldn't get in. So
I got
pretty
you.
convenient.
Yeah. Sounds like a nice little area. You know, I wish I've always lived in Michigan in the Metro Detroit area. And it's pretty flat. Although it's called Sterling Heights where I'm living now, and I lived in Dearborn Heights. It's not that tall. It's pretty much sea level. And there's no mountains or anything. So when we go snowboarding, we go to hills. We don't go to mountains. They're just really big hills. Um, so I can't wait to go to other places and do some mountain biking with some extreme elevation and get my butt kicked because I'm just not used to that.
I bet. Elevation fucks you up. I went out to Colorado for 420 with a buddy a couple of years ago, right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Goddamn pandemic. And we went hiking to go smoke some of the stuff we got. I couldn't walk like 100 feet without having to stop and breathe. Like like especially with how high up that city is, going on the mountains there and trying to walk was it literally left me breathless, like being
Just
the entire
walking.
time. Like we got to where we wanted to smoke, and I was just like, I don't have the lung capacity to breathe that in right now. I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that lack of oxygen. You're only breathing a small percentage of what you had before.
Yeah.
I bought a training tool called a training mask that simulates elevation-based training. So it's basically like breathing in through a straw and breathing out through a straw. It's only a very small amount, and then you're wearing a mask, so you're rebreathing carbon dioxide, and you're getting even less oxygen because there's a lot in your mask there that's not getting out. So it's like a double whammy. So the first time I used it, I was just walking around my apartment at the time years ago, and I was getting winded just walking around my apartment. I was like, man, how am I gonna run in this? But over time, just like if you live in Colorado in elevation or somewhere high up, your body acclimates to that. It doesn't
Yeah,
have
you just get used to it.
And I hear people getting altitude sickness from doing it too quick,
Mm-hmm.
but just gotta take it slow.
Yeah, especially with anything having to do with getting oxygen, you have to go slow with it.
Yeah. Yeah, years ago, talking about vocals, I did the Brett Manning Singing Success, I think it was called. I was trying to do all his different vocal exercises, octaves, and it was very insightful to learn how they teach singing and taking all the pressure off your voice, so you're not overextending your vocal cords. Trying to make things more free sounding and less nasally and crimped.
Good. That crypt is a great adjective.
You have to relax everything and open up.
Yeah, it's definitely a very important thing. If you overthink anything as far as like rough vocals or mixed vocals, like a singing slash like gravelly kind of tone, you can really hurt yourself if you just try to push it too much and not just go from your diaphragm.
Yeah.
I've given some vocal lessons to some people because I was self-trained and taught. Uh, but a couple years ago, I just did like a lot of research into everything and put like words to what my methods were and shit like that. And when I was doing a lot more vocal covers, I'd have people always ask me like, "Can you teach me how to do this?" And I
Yeah.
would do that for a bit. It's very hard to teach someone how to do something,
Right.
to do fucking anything. It's
Yeah.
very hard to teach people, especially people who aren't like a 3-year-old.
Right. Yeah. Some people
You
think
can-
they know everything and they can't be taught. It's very difficult to teach someone who doesn't want to learn.
Yeah, I definitely relate heavily.
There's some people who can be an
I've
open book. They just have bad habits, and it's hard to break those habits sometimes.
Yeah, or don't realize what they're doing wrong. That those are the easiest people to help, but I've definitely had a couple people that just weren't open to hearing anything and were like, no, but that is what I'm doing. I was, oh, okay, then keep hurting your voice. Yeah, go for it.
It might be helpful to be more data driven for the sport bikes. At least it's very helpful to actually see video of yourself riding or photos, because you think you might be doing one thing with your body position. You look at the photo, it's a completely different thing. And also we look at lap times and sector times, but you could maybe look at if it's like pitch correct, right? If you're on pitch or not. And then there's also the objective part of it, where does it sound good or not? Are you hitting the right tone um, or emotion for that part of the song?
Yeah, definitely relate.
So, that's about an hour already. We can kind of wrap things up if you like. Is there any parting words you have for the audience?
Just keep coming back every week and listening to this podcast. Go check out Water Culture. We have a Patreon if you love us. We have a Spotify if you just like us. And that's about all, you know. I hope the pandemic's over so we can play a show everywhere. People can come see us. But until then, you can just look at this really cute cat some more.
All right. Very good. Well, I appreciate you coming on and talking to me, and it'll take me a couple weeks to get this posted, but I'll be sure to tag you, and so we can share it with all the different people and tag all those bands we talked about.
Okay, sounds good, man. Hope you have a
All
good
right.
one.
Yep. Have a good one, man. Peace.
Later. Peace.